This tutorial is to help you understand how to create the Europe map for contemporary world studies. And when we use this term rules, basically we're referring to rules as directions. So let's get some help here. There are 45 countries that you're going to have to identify on this outline map. Africa and Asia are present, and you're going to shade them gray, so the focus of your map is the continent of Europe. You are going to have a line of latitude and longitude to include. That's the prime meridian that runs through Greenwich, England, France, and a little bit of Spain, and then the Arctic Circle that is north of Iceland. The national capitals you're going to put on here, you are going to need to have a very fine tip pen to include this circle star and not take up the whole country if you're identifying Luxembourg, for instance. So your line map is not large. You've got an awful lot of countries to identify in a small space, but we've helped you with some guidance here in where to put some key things. The prime meridian, as I said before, runs through Greenwich, England, France, and Spain. Be careful that you're making it straight and going through those places. There are quite a few waterways to be attentive to, and at the end of this presentation, I'll single them out and narrow them down. But what you'll find is attached to this assignment, you'll find 3 pages of the National Geographic Atlas that have been loaded for your use. There are 3 mountain ranges: the Alps, the Pyrenees, and the Ural Mountains. The Pyrenees separate France and Spain, but there is actually a country, a micro-state called Andorra that's located, and it has all pretty much elevated altitude. Here's another picture. If you've ever seen the Tour de France, which normally is in July of every year, they have a couple of their days where they're riding through the Pyrenees. Additionally, you need a title on your map, a compass rose, and then the key things to put in your key are symbols for microstates, national capitals, and gross domestic product per capita colors. I'm going to explain that in a second, and mountains. There are 5 microstates that you're going to need to identify. This can be found on page 83 of the atlas, which is attached to this assignment. Andorra, Monaco, Liechtenstein, which is on the border of Switzerland and Austria, San Marino, which is completely surrounded by Italy, and Vatican City, which is found within Rome. Again, this is your outline map. In your key, we have here microstates, use the symbol and name. So you're going to list out those symbols and then apply them here. Andorra actually is identified here with a circle, but it's so small that what you're going to do is you're going to create a symbol and you'll name them here, and you just put your symbol on the map. So the layer that we're going to put on this map is called gross domestic GDP per capita, gross domestic product per capita. So on average, how much money are each of the citizens bringing home, putting in the bank on an annual basis? So we're going to have you use Rand McNally Online Atlas for this, and the directions are kind of specific in order to be able to activate this, and I'll go through them step by step. Notice you'll be coloring by the rainbow again, and those countries that are making over $100,000, so we've put the monetary value in dollars, $100,000 per year is going to be purple, all the way down to the lower extremity of $1,000 to $5,999 is going to be shaded red. Okay, so first, you're going to open up Rand McNally Online World Atlas. And on the left-hand side, there's a Map Explorer button, and it's black normally, and then you're going to switch it to green. So it's an on-off button, just click it. And once it's switched to green, click on a particular country in Europe. And once the country is selected, Then you're going to click on facts and figures for that country. So it's easy to hover over the larger countries in Europe, for instance, Germany, but it's much harder to find and hover over other countries that are smaller, like Luxembourg. I have another solution for that. But what you're going to do is you're going to look up the GDP per capita, which will be given in US dollars, and you're going to record that on a data table. Color each country according to the GDP per capita and this chart. If no data is found for a particular country, skip this. We have provided it for you. Don't shade it white. We have provided it for you. So, for instance, you're going to put the GDP per capita here. Albania, if we are alphabetizing, Albania is first. GDP per capita goes here, and then the color that's associated. Notice Andorra doesn't show up on the Rand McNally, so we've given you the data, as well as a number of other countries, all right? So this is what I was talking about or referring to as the Map Explorer button. So you want to make this green, and then you can type in the name or hover over the country. So here, France is easy to find. Then you're going to go to facts and figures. And then under facts and figures, you're going to scroll down to GDP per capita. And this data is based on 2012. Some things may have slightly changed from that, but we're going to get a general idea of which countries have the highest GDPs per capita and lowest. So if you cannot find the country or microstate, you can type in the search bar instead of just hovering over the country. You can type in the country, and then that can help you with your search. So you want to write small, and you want to use a very fine tip pen. We don't want you to abbreviate the countries. So it's possible you should use a pencil first and then a Sharpie later. For the Rand McNally World Atlas, the username is CWS and password Harlem. You will have access to this slideshow so you can come back and find the capital names. I want to use the last couple of slides to highlight the land features or water features so that you put them on your map accurately. Mediterranean Sea is almost completely surrounded by Europe, Asia, and Africa. But there is an outlet here, and there are other, there's movement of water elsewhere. The Adriatic Sea is found between the boot of Italy and then the Balkans. The Danube drains the Alps from the German side and then dumps into the Black Sea. So you want to, in order to get the point for identifying Danube, you want to make sure that it starts at the Alps and then it dumps into the Black Sea. The Atlantic Ocean is the furthest water body west on your map. The Black Sea has Ukraine and then Turkey to the south. Ukraine to the north, Turkey to the south. The Volga River, this is a somewhat confusing picture because it doesn't have other things on here. This is the Caspian Sea, and the Ural Mountains are separating Europe and Asia through Russia. So the Ural Mountains are running up and down from the Caspian Sea, and the Volga River drains much of the Ural Mountains into the Caspian Sea. So here's the Caspian Sea, Volga River, and you would have the Urals running up and down. The North Sea is found here closest to Europe, and the Baltic Sea, so Germany, and the Baltic Sea then due north of Poland. The Strait of Gibraltar runs between Spain and Morocco, tip of Africa. And again here. All right, I hope that helps. I am going to have you look at the Europe map rules as well so that you can identify what you have to do. I want you to work these in order. So from the first label and draw, you're shading Africa and Asia gray because that's not part of the focus of the map. Use this as a check sheet to make sure you've included everything. So you've got your waterways, your landforms. Make sure you put a title on it, compass rose. This again is the data that you're going to follow. This is the chart you're going to follow for how you're going to color your countries. And this looks a little bit monumental, but we're giving you the capitals. You've just copied those or typed those in here and then figure out the GDP per capita and the color. So you're collecting data to chart here. This is worth 35 points. You want to make sure to do it well and take it seriously. Good luck.